Good afternoon. This is Media Center Ukraine, Odessa, and we continue. Our current speaker is spokesperson to the Ukrainian Navy, Dmytro Pletenchuk, who is with us online today. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's start with the latest attacks on the city of Odessa and the Odessa Oblast, and we can see that over last month or 2 months, the enemy has been actively using ballistic missiles against the Odessa Oblast, and they used to use cruise missiles more before. The set of tools can depend on targets and depend on situations. Why do they use ballistic missiles? Maybe perhaps it is difficult to launch caliber missiles when you have ships in Novorossiysk and calibers in Sevastopol. Maybe this is the reason, but still we can see missile carriers in the sea. The other reason could be that it is difficult to intercept ballistic missiles in the south of Ukraine compared to caliber and other cruise missiles. So there could be different reasons, and we will be able to identify that when we liberate Crimea and to take prisoners from them, we will be able to get more precise information. And as for Russian ships, you mentioned that the Minsk ship could be disassembled. What do you think now? So actually that was not me who mentioned that first, and my opinion was asked. And we say that the Navy believes that landing ship cannot be repaired, and it is also a very old ship. That's why the news about disassembling could be true, because nothing else could be done with the ship. And so there is no reason to repair that old, outdated ship. It could be done only for propaganda. That's why it is very likely that this ship will be disassembled. And there are other ships from the series. They are also old and outdated, and it can become as a donor to those ships. Because there are still sanctions imposed on the Russian Federation, and also taken into consideration that such types of ships do not manufacture it, it can be disassembled. And a question about Ascolt ship. Could you share more details about the scale of the damages? And you can see that there is still not enough information. There is a picture which is not that informative. We can only see in that picture that the central part of the ship has been damaged. And it is should be investigated further on. And you see that they don't say that that ship has been included into the list of destroyed ships. So I believe that we should still clarify the situation with the nature and scale of damages to that ship. I can say that it will take a really long time for that ship to be returned to the fleet, because we all have seen the videos of attack. There were 3 strikes, so the damages are really significant. And we should also take into consideration that this is the first ship in the fleet from this series. This is Karakurt project. And the attacked the ship that was added to the fleet is a Cyclone, and there is also Amur and Ascolt. And these three ships were manufactured in Kerch. And even the ship that they have already added to their fleet, it is still have not been fully completed because we have seen no attacks from that ship. And we hope that there will be no missiles launched from the board of that ship. And after attacks on Sevastopol, we remember that Russians took their fleet to Novorossiysk. Don't you have any information about Russians taking their ships even further? No, everything is just accumulated in Novorossiysk, and it is really a very difficult process because when it comes to logistics, in Sukhumi, it is in a bad shape because they have not been based there for ages. It was a long time ago when it was the basis for the Russian fleet as well for the coastal guard. I don't remember what was the reason of that. Perhaps it was caused by the conflicts incited by the so-called Russian Federation in that region in Georgia. You know that this is an occupied Georgian territory. So they just cannot just bring their ships for a day or two. And they just took that mentioned cyclone ship to celebrate yet another anniversary of the annexation of Abkhazia. But it is not that easy to move ships there. They need to have bay in a proper condition. There should be an access road for the tankers to be there to fuel the ship. There should be a water supply of proper quality to ensure proper mooring of that ship and to fill the reservoirs of the ship with water before it can go into the sea. And as far as I understand, there is also a problem with the depth. But Novorossiysk is a different story because this is Russian territory according to all international rules. There is the infrastructure needed, but the only thing is that there is no still facility to upload cruise missiles. And this is the situation in which they have found themselves because they have removed their ships, but they still cannot ensure the full services needed to launch missiles. And so we can see a pause now. Perhaps they just take their time to solve all these issues on their side. What is happening now around the so-called boycott towers after their liberation, and what is the situation with the Zmyny Island? And they are in the water area which is under our control, fire control, and it's been a long time since we've seen Russian ships in the south and west of the Black Sea, not to mention the east and west of the Black Sea. And they have nothing to do there because they will have the same result as their flagship. And that's why they now use more drones, aircraft, and missiles. They also try to interfere with our civil navigation, not only our civil navigation, but also international navigation. And they used the bottom mine that can be planted with the use of the aircraft. This is what they are doing in that part around boycott towers and near Zmyny. Sometimes they try to attack Zmyny, but there is no military purpose for that. At the end of September, if I'm not mistaken, there was information that Ukraine will get radio location equipment from Lithuania. Can you provide information? Have you received that equipment? So, as you understand, we cannot disclose this information not to raise awareness of our enemy. So the enemy just needs to know that it will be an easier for it in our water area and in our Crimea. We will continue warning them about that until they finally realize that they should follow the route through the Kerch Bridge till it is still there, back to the Russian Federation. And I cannot but ask about the temporary corridor. Do you have any additional activities to ensure even more safety and security for the vessels using that corridor? We've been working on that issue all the time. We have some plans how to improve the situation, and we will continue our activities there to ensure the increase of the transportation volume. And I keep emphasizing that the maritime route for Ukraine is the main route for export and import. And before the full-scale invasion, it covered 90% of our export. And this just helps to bring more funds and money to our country to improve our economic condition and our commercial balance. Because other logistic routes, the roadways, are more expensive and more difficult for us than the sea. Thank you very much, Dmytro, for joining us today. And I would like to remind that the guest of the media center, Ukr Odesa, was the spokesman person to the Ukrainian Navy, Dmytro Pletenchuk, and we will continue at 2 p.m.